50 movies, 5 rounds, and some truly terrible descriptions. Today, we're tackling the biggest hits in cinema history, and your job is to name the movie from a single sentence. From family movies to biopics, how many can you get? Welcome everyone! Are you ready? So, let's start things off with the innocent-sounding family movies. Here's the first one. A group of neglected plastic items develop emotional problems when their owner gets new stuff. Yes, that was Toy Story. You'd think the toys would be used to it by now. Okay, on to number 2. A poorly designed board game traps a child for decades and then releases invasive species into a town. That was Jumanji. Yeah, why did they keep playing it? Movie number 3 then. A helicopter parent crosses the ocean to find his son with help from a woman who can't remember why she's even there. Yep, Finding Nemo. Well, she wasn't the ideal person to ask for directions. Next one. An angry swamp dweller road trips with a talking farm animal to settle a real estate dispute. Yep, it's Shrek. I think the donkey caused most of the problems, didn't it? Okay, here's number 5. A young prince runs away after a family argument and joins 2 weird guys living in the jungle. Hopefully you got it. Yep, The Lion King. Okie dokie. Movie number 6. Neglectful parents abandon their son to go on vacation, who responds by torturing 2 local men. And the answer is Home Alone. Brutal. Anyway, here's 7 on our list. A woman refuses to manage her emotions and accidentally invents eternal winter. Of course, Frozen. Yep, we'll just let it go. And now for number 8. A middle-aged man hates his office job and starts secretly going out at night again. Yes, The Incredibles. Sounds a bit like Fight Club when put like that. Okay, number 9 is... An illegal immigrant with a marmalade fixation moves to London and is immediately hunted by a high-end taxidermist. Yes, that is Paddington. Bless. And to finish off the family movies round, we have... A security guard discovers his job is basically babysitting hyperactive historical figures. Yep, Night at the Museum. Could have been at any number of legislative bodies when described like that. So that's the family movies done. Now it's time for the blockbusters, where bigger budgets mean even more ridiculous plots. Starting this round off, we have... A neglected orphan finds out he's been ignoring his mail and goes to boarding school. Well, this had to be in there somewhere. That was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Okay, number 2 in this round is... An eccentric drunk with heavy guy liner is really bad at sailing and spends 2 hours trying to get his boat back. Yes, that's Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Up next we have... A guy travels light years to join a blue cat cosplay community, plug his ponytail into a giant tree, and start a riot. It's Avatar. That is basically what happened. Alright, next one. A farm boy radicalizes after meeting an old man in the desert and kills millions when he blows up government property. Hopefully you got it. Star Wars: A New Hope. He never showed any remorse for that. Millions died. Here's a massive blockbuster for you. Emotionally damaged adults try to fix their mistakes by bullying a giant purple grape and fighting over jewellery. That was The Avengers Endgame. Why didn't he just double all the resources in the universe if that was the problem? Okay, for number 6 we have a plastic woman has an existential crisis because her feet go flat, then accidentally invents feminism for men. The correct answer is Barbie. Poor Ken. Still, the guy won an Oscar. Here's your next terrible description. A government official gets demoted, goes to North Africa for professional development, then returns to stab his boss. That's actually the plot of Gladiator. Indeed. Number 8 is an aging alcoholic refuses to retire and ruins a perfectly nice house in Scotland. Did you get this? Yes, it was Skyfall. Classic James Bond. Okay, next we have a billionaire engages in some aggressive couples therapy with a clown who likes magic tricks. And the answer is The Dark Knight. Yeah, where did the pencil go? And the last in this round is rural man's idyllic life is ruined after receiving unsolicited jewellery. Yeah, that's the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. But unlike the Balrog, we shall pass from these blockbusters, as now it's time for the romance round, where good-looking but emotionally unavailable people eventually kiss in the rain. Here's the first one. A man helps a woman find her voice and a Grammy, then has a trouser accident on stage. Yes, it's A Star Is Born. There was a huge line for the restrooms, apparently. Okay, number 2. A teenager goes on holiday, learns one dance move, and suddenly believes she can fix systemic class inequality. If you said Dirty Dancing, you're correct. One successful lift can do wonders for social justice. Okay, next is two neurotics spend 12 years annoying each other until they realise nobody else will want them. And the answer is When Harry Met Sally. Yep, that's pretty accurate. On to 4 now. A shy bookshop owner learns that dating a celebrity is mostly apologising for existing. Yes, that one was Notting Hill. Okie dokie. Number 5 then. A dead man refuses to move on because he's jealous of a pottery wheel. That was Ghost. Right. Up next is two teenagers meet, make eye contact for 4 seconds, and ruin the lives of 2 entire families. Yes, of course, Romeo and Juliet. It had such a cool soundtrack. So, number 7. 3 men are dragged to a Greek island and emotionally manipulated by Swedish pop music. Well, that only describes Mamma Mia, doesn't it? Okay, number 8. A woman lets a man drown to avoid sharing a door. Oof, yeah, that one's Titanic. That door really could have held 2. Next up we have a man renovates a house to guilt a woman into leaving her fiancé. Yes, it's The Notebook. Some consider this the most romantic film ever made, so there we are. And completing the romance round, we have a widow receives letters from her dead husband, proving that even in the afterlife, men refuse to communicate directly. Yes, that was P.S. I Love You. Yep, sounds about right. Okay, so what can be more ridiculous than a Hollywood romance? Well, now it's time for the comedy round. The plots are absurd, even with a normal description. Here we go then. A homeschooled girl moves to the suburbs and joins a cult of well-dressed sociopaths. Yes, it's Mean Girls, typical high schoolers really. For number 2, we have an unemployed man commits identity fraud to force children into his personal midlife crisis band. Yes, School of Rock, a very touching movie indeed. Next we have, after losing custody, a desperate father uses pro-level prosthetics just to avoid using the agreed custody schedule. The answer is, of course, Mrs. Doubtfire, another involving children and identity fraud. The next one's different. Number 4. 3 men lose their best friend on a rooftop and spend a day wandering around Las Vegas asking a tiger for directions. Well, of course, that's The Hangover. Rightio. Okay, next one. An adult man refuses to stop hanging out with his childhood toy. Yes, that one's Ted. I know some guys who are like that. Anyway. For 6, we have a woman's life implodes because her best friend gets a new friend with shinier confidence. That was Bridesmaids. Anyway. Okay, 7 now. An overachieving policeman discovers that village residents take neighborhood watch far too seriously. Yes, Hot Fuzz. It's for the greater good. Number 8. A man tracks down his prom date and accidentally provides her with the worst hair product ever. Good God, yes, there's something about Mary. She had just run out, apparently. On to 9. Annoying man screams at people until missing animals reappear. Yes, if you said Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, then you get the point. Okay, now for the last comedy. Weather reporter abuses time travel because tomorrow doesn't exist for him. Of course, that one was Groundhog Day. Given the chance, most would probably do the same. So, that was the final comedy description. So now we have the final round. Biopics. Real people, real events, wildly oversimplified descriptions. Let's start with this one. A college student creates a way for everyone on Earth to argue with their relatives in exchange for their personal data. Yep, that was The Social Network, telling the story of charisma black hole Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, number 2. A taxi fare dodger escapes homelessness through the power of a Rubik's Cube. Yes, that one is The Pursuit of Happiness. Goes to show, even inspirational investment banking stories begin with stiffing the everyday working man. How heartwarming. Next up, A man rebuilds a baseball team through the blind faith of someone who has clearly never opened Excel before. Yep, it's Moneyball, where Brad Pitt spends 2 hours explaining data analysis to confused adults. Okay, and now we have... A woman with no legal training takes down a corporation with attitude, persistence, and intimidating outfits. Well, if you said Erin Brockovich, you get the point. Okay. Number 5 in our biopic round is... Man with iconic hips becomes too famous to live a normal life. Yes, all about the king of rock and roll, Elvis. Next we have... A hat enthusiast invents a large bomb and is surprised when people want to use it. Yep, that was Oppenheimer. Cool hat at least. Number 7 then. A man commits every financial crime imaginable while high enough to forget how legs work. That's right, The Wolf of Wall Street. A solid reminder not to trust overly confident strangers with stock tips. On to number 8. A socially awkward mathematics genius is rewarded by being prosecuted by the government he just saved. Yes, The Imitation Game. Some gratitude, eh? Okay, our penultimate movie. A man paints his face and starts a long argument with England. Of course, it's Braveheart. It continues to this day. And for the final terrible description, we have... An iconic band spends half their time arguing and the other half trying to keep up with Freddie Mercury. Of course, it could only be Bohemian Rhapsody. Indeed. So that was the final description. It's time to tally up your score. How did you get on? A terrible description can ruin even the best movie. So, have you got any of your own? Let us know in the comments. We hope you had fun and enjoyed the quiz. If you did, a like is very much appreciated. Thanks a lot for watching everyone. Until next time, cheerio.